Good morning, good morning, good morning. See that we all made it out here this morning. Know we had probably had a good night last night, able to unwind, have a couple of drinks and things like that. So I'm glad to see everybody here this morning. As she said, had just finished up my second year with the University of Kentucky men's basketball program. Very excited to be there. Very good place to work. It's actually weird because I grew up a Louisville fan. I'm originally from Louisville, and if you know anything about um, the rivalry between the two, my family has definitely disowned me for working at the University of Kentucky. But it's all good. Um, can't say too much about this organization. I'm truly honored and blessed to be standing up here in front of you to present this morning. I don't have all the answers to strength and conditioning. I'm just a learner, still humbled, and I think a person that does have all the answers knows nothing, honestly. A little bit about me, I got to start. Really, I first volunteered in 2009 with the University of Kentucky football program. So to be back at Kentucky for me is actually, it's really great and a good spot to be in. This profession that we're in is truly a great profession. I can't say too many negative things about it. I love it. It's an opportunity for us to reach and teach young men and women of different aspects, different backgrounds. Can you hear me? I'm doing good? Okay. All right. Get into the talk a little bit. Title of it is called Find a Way. I was trying to figure out the best title for this presentation, and I figured nothing better than find a way. That's what we do. We have to find a way to get the best out of our athletes, and especially with basketball, it's such a hectic schedule, and you have to basically get the most bang for your buck during a small scale time. We have to just, really learn the best way to make ourselves relevant as strength and conditioning coaches, especially when a sport like basketball. Some guys are pro weight room, some coaches are not pro weight room, so you just have to find a way to fit in best where you fit in. And hopefully we get a little bit out of this today and we just get it going. All right, let's talk a little bit about what the basketball athlete is. Normally, a basketball athlete is not necessarily a weightlifter. Guys, they are just pure basketball. They're about on the court, shooting jumpers, dribbling, playing defense. They're jumpers, they're explosive athletes. I actually had a guy that told me he didn't like the weight room. I mean, on his first day, he was just like, Coach Rob, I don't like the weight room. I hate it, never have liked it, and don't like it. And I was just like, well, let me ask you that question by the end of the summer. Well, by the end of the summer, he dropped some weight. His body was looking good, and I couldn't keep him out of the weight room. So, that for me, that was really cool to see that, I was able to connect with him and show him how important that the weight room is, and he had a love for the weight room. Basketball guys are athletic and sometimes not so athletic, and I say that because they are just basketball players. They've played basketball their entire lives, haven't played in any other sport or know anything. Watch a guy spike a volleyball or throw a football, and I'm like, did you and your father ever play catch in the backyard? It's like all you know is basketball. So are you truly an athlete, or are you just a basketball athlete? A lot of guys, play AAU, so it's a year-round deal. I mean, there's really no true off-season, when it comes to basketball, especially in high school. Those guys, they are from 10 to 12 years old playing across the country, as well as on their high school teams in the parks. I mean, every day is basketball. It's not like football. You can literally do basketball every single day. When they come in, a lot of guys I've noticed will be beat up because of that, because of that pounding that they've put on their body and all the stress that they've done. But the basketball player has to be someone who is self-confident. I mean, it takes a lot to shoot a jumper and be confident about it going in with 2 or 3 seconds left on the shot clock. And that comes with a ton of practice. That comes with, hours in the weight room, hours on the court. We want our basketball players to be very mobile and flexible and versatile. When you're coming off of a pick and you've got a center who's 6'10", 7 foot, guarding a guy that's about 5'10" to, 6 foot, and he's moving around, that center's got to be able to move just as quickly as the guard does. So that's a little bit about the basketball guy. They got to be very durable and also a well-conditioned athlete as well. Get into a little bit about the schedule of the basketball year. In college, the off season for me, it starts in June and ends about the first week of August. And this time of the year is when the new guys come in, the new recruits get there. And Coach Cal has done a great job with recruiting some of the best of the best. But as I said, they're still not great in the weight room. They're still not great athletes, to my deal. And during this time of the year is when I'm able to lay the foundation, get guys as strong as possible. You want to figure out what each individual needs. So whether it's weight gain, whether it's weight loss, whether they need to get stronger or more flexibility and they need to move faster. So this time of the year is when they're with me the majority of the time, and it's not so much about the coaches and basketball. So I'm able to get in there in the weight room. We'll go 4 days a week of lifting. Every day is pretty much a full body day with emphasis on upper body Monday, lower body on Tuesday. Wednesday will be just strictly light conditioning. Thursday is upper body, and Friday will be lower body again as well. During the summer, we're not conditioning extremely hard, but we are definitely conditioning a little bit, and they'll play pickup probably for about 2 hours a day. So they're getting a little conditioning in there as well. And with the guys that we have, it's a lot of competitiveness when it comes to their open gym. So I know that they're going hard and really getting the conditioning that they need. This time of the year also, Kentucky, I guess, is known for having the guys for 1 year and then they go on to the NBA. So during the summertime, we've set it up that the guys will go out to dinner. We'll take them to dinner together, set like a certain money aside for their scholarship, and we will take them out to dinner so that way it builds their camaraderie and let the guys get together as a team and just kind of get to know each other a little bit more. Since most programs, you'll have guys that have been playing together for 3 to 4 years, but, at Kentucky, it's not like that. So we've got to find a way to get our guys to, come together as a group. During the preseason, they'll get a couple of weeks off in August after the summer session, come back the end of August, and then all through September. During that time is when, more of the conditioning will kick in and just still lay that foundation of what we have built from the summer. And we'll go 3 days out of the week as far as lifting, same deal, upper body, lower body, and then Friday will be a full body. So that's Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and Tuesday and Thursday are just strictly conditioning days. And, that time we're just getting ready for basketball, getting ready for what we're going to do when it comes to training camp time in October. And at Kentucky, we have an NBA combine. So with the combine, we'll go through the same tests that they do at the NBA combine. So we'll run those tests, and I'll kind of get those guys acclimated to how that is so they can perform well with that test. In season is a grind. It's long. Schedule is hectic. Days are, they run together. So during the in season, I'm finding a way to kind of get the guys still in the weight room. I will lift guys about 3 days a week, just depending upon the schedule and minutes that they play. So if a guy's playing over 30 minutes a game, he's going to lift about 2 times per week. That actually didn't go too well with one of our guys. The point guard this year was a little guy, probably about 5'8", 5'9", weighed about 160 pounds, and he played about 39 and a half minutes a game. I mean, he played a lot, but he wanted to lift more. You know, I can't say too much about him. He loved the little dude. He fought his heart out, and he lifted, stayed strong in the weight room. So he lifted about 3 to 4 times a week, and his body kept up. He was very durable, didn't get injured throughout the year. So I mean, that was really good for him. So guys that aren't playing as much minutes, they'll still get about three lifts in a week. For the postseason, we will have just kind of fun. I mean, we'll get to the in season too. Let's talk about that. It's October through end of March if you're lucky. So that's that schedule, and you know, depending upon the game schedule, it depends upon when we'll lift. Some days we'll have to lift a day before a game. I had a guy tell me that he can't lift before a game, and the day before a game is going to throw his shot off and this and that. And we just had a conversation. I told him, I said, well, look, you try it here. This is the first time you've done it. He ended up trying it, and he scored, I think, like 21 points the next day, and, you know, he was a believer. So it's just cool to see little things like that when you're dealing with basketball players. But back to the postseason, for our guys, we will, you know, get a couple of weeks of rest. We'll have a little fun, go do other things besides basketball. You know, we will lift just about 2 days a week, just kind of laying a foundation for what's ahead to the summer. And then we will go out and do other things like swimming, playing dodgeball, and just little things like that, just to have a little fun and kind of get our minds away from basketball and the whole grind that happened during the season. For this slide, making a connection, that's one of the biggest things to me. I think that's why we are here as strength and conditioning coaches. I think it's more about X's and O's and shooting the ball and getting the ball in the rim, or blocking shots and rebounds, or bench press numbers, you know, how much a guy squats. I think it's about making a connection with each individual athlete. And you have to do that by spending time with the guys. You know, guys are around us probably more than anybody else in an organization. So you got to invest the time in the guys and, you know, really build the relationships. And it's, you know, about your personality. You got to have the great personality for this field. You know, you have to be able to connect with guys from different backgrounds, whether they like different types of music, or, you know, they come from a high-class home or low-class home. It doesn't matter. You got to be able to connect with each and every individual, and these relationships that you have can last a lifetime. You know, a cool story about relationships is I had a long layover in Minneapolis where the Timberwolves are, and one of our former players, you know, I hit him up the day of a game and just asked him, I said, hey, you know, I see you guys have a game today. Can I come and check you out or just see you? And he ended up giving me and my family 4 tickets to the game and, you know, showing us around the arena and locker room after the game. So it was pretty cool, and it just shows that how much he valued our relationship that we have built during his time there. You know, and it's hard to build a relationship with a guy when he's only going to be there for 1 year. But, you know, I think I do a pretty good job, a decent job of finding a way to do that, you know, connecting with these athletes. You know, it's all about impact and investment. You have to do that, and that's why we at Kentucky, we had a breakfast club that we started. And breakfast club, you think breakfast. Well, most mornings we would do recovery sessions. We'd have some light lifts, or we would just go eat breakfast somewhere together as a team. And I would take them out, and it was just me and the guys, and just kind of talk and get to know each other a little more. As guys get to know each other a little more as well. And, you know, the whole Proverbs 27 deal, you know, iron sharpens iron. We are here for these athletes, and they also make me better. They should make you better as well as coaches, and we're there to make them better as well. All right, here we go. For me, I don't say my philosophy on strength and condition. I don't consider myself a philosopher, so just want to talk to you about pretty much my way of thinking and how I do things. First is do no harm. I don't want to get our athletes hurt in the weight room. I don't want to go upstairs and tell Coach Cal, like, yeah, your future first-round pick, he got hurt in the weight room because I put too much stress on his back, or we did something that messed up his shoulders in the weight room. When you get hurt in the weight room, you're not doing a pretty good job. I like to have our guys, when they first get there, kind of watch film, just like you watch film on a basketball game. I have them watch film on what a proper lift looks like, what the technique should be, as well as, coaching it up as hard as I can. That's something that, we take pride in, and injury reduction. Don't say prevention, because injuries are like accidents. They will happen, and you just have to try to reduce the occurrence of them as much as you can. So with that, I try to just train guys really hard and smart at the same time. I was able to work for some great people over my time. I worked with Rock Oliver, Chip Morton, Ben Herbert at the University of Arkansas, and even learned a lot from Eric Lichter when I was at the Ohio State University. For me, nutrition is pretty big. I can't preach that enough. I think that, it's something that's probably underlooked and underdeveloped throughout this process that we get our athletes coming in. It's all about the core. For me, core development is where everything starts from. So try to develop the core almost pretty much every day, something that has a core aspect of it in the weight room. I like to build explosive athletes. The game of basketball is very explosive from tip-off to the last horn. It's a very explosive game. So I like to do a lot of explosive movements in the weight room and out of the weight room as well. I like to build fast guys, quick, can move, react well. Also, I'll just, whatever I can do to almost build the perfect player. You can't really develop the perfect player, but you want to get as close to that as possible. And also want to create accountability with these guys and self-confidence, through mental toughness, getting the guys to be able to push and fight through things that they are, not used to. I also want to create an environment where there's a lot of energy brought. Also, I want to create an environment where hard work meets joy. As I said, these guys, a lot of them don't like to work out. They don't like to work out in the weight room. They love basketball. They love dribbling. That's what they were built for. That's what they were made for. But, I want to create an environment where it's fun, where they enjoy it, but also we're working hard and getting after it at the same time. For me, I have a plan, not necessarily a set periodization schedule or anything like that. I have a plan of what I want these guys to do in season. I have a plan of what I want these guys to do out of season, and where we want them to go. Talk to the coaches and say, hey, what does this guy need? How can we help this guy become better basketball player? Because that's what I am developing. I'm developing a basketball player, not developing a weightlifter. So I want them to get better in the weight room, but I also want them to get better on the court. Basketball is, 15, 16 guys. It's not like football where you've got 100 guys and you're working with different players. So with just 15 or 16 guys, you can really put an emphasis on the individual. I like to tell people that in the weight room there is an I in team, and for me, that I starts with the individual and how I plan them and what I want to do with that specific guy. So all of our lift groups are about, I would say maybe 2 guys, 3 at max, depending upon the day and the schedule. So I like to get guys in there on an individual basis as much as I can. And also, I have major movements, explosive movements, pushing, a pull, squat, a hinge, a carry, and a core. I kind of deal with carry and core all in the same. All right, let's talk a little bit about energy. I think energy is something that each of us bring to the table, and I think it needs to be coached in our athletes. I tell the guys all the time, nobody likes the Debbie Downer or the guy that's always complaining or in a negative state. People want to have guys around them that are going to bring energy to the table. You can either suck the energy out of the organization or you can bring the energy too, and that's just not with sports. That's with just everyday life. It's something that's got to be brought every single day. It's more than just yelling at the guys. I mean, it's consistent energy every single day. One of the coolest things I see is, getting to work at 6 o'clock in the morning and watching Coach Spurlock, John Spurlock. He's our women's basketball strength coach in the weight room, and he's, getting after it. So it gets me going and gets me fired up and ready to have a good day. It's contagious. It's something that feeds off of itself. We are able to let our passion show, and, it just allows guys to, find a way to bring energy even when you're having a bad day, because honestly, nobody cares about your bad day. They just want to, get the results out of you. And how can you do that? So what we do is we just find a way to bring that energy every single day of the week, especially for me. It's excitement. It allows me to show my passion that I have for my players and this profession. Let's talk a little bit about the tests that I do for my guys. When they first get on campus, in addition to, like I said, showing those guys film on technique, when they're going through their physical process, I will do just an FMS test just to kind of see where our guys are, to see what they need, to see where their weaknesses are, where I can put correctives in, what type of things can I do to help these guys off the bat, and it allows me to get that individual's plan and that workout. I do a lot of corrective exercises. I try to get them in not during practice, but right before practice. So, we'll do a lot of hip mobility. We do a lot of hip mobility work, whether it's quad hip flexors, stretches, foam rolling. We'll do hurdles. We'll do all kinds of things just to help guys out. Just in that way, I can get some of those corrective exercises in before practice when there's not a lot of time throughout the day to get those things in. It allows me just to overall observe the athlete and see where guys are. Obviously the NBA Draft Combine is where our athletes want to get to, and that's actually next week. So I would test them to see where they are as far as the 3-course sprint. Also, you have the lane agility, the shuttle run, and then you have the 185 bench press test. Then you have the jumping. So just kind of see where they measure up to some of the top guys in the NBA Combine. So when they first get on campus to the time that we do it in October. Coach Cal's done a great job as far as his recruiting and getting some of the best players. So it's cool to see these guys come through and see them test and not be so well at the test like they think they are and, where they rank. But as the time that the combine comes in October on our campus, it's cool to see those guys have transformed and changed. And then also, when it says mental toughness, just kind of want to see where a guy is mentally when he first arrives on campus. And by that, I mean, just see if he's a guy that's willing to push through challenging things, to see if he is able to get his mindset right and do what he's got to do, or if he'll just, tuck and run. So what I'll do is I'll set guys up kind of similar to what the Bruce protocol is, but I'll put a heart rate monitor on a guy, get him on a treadmill, and just put the treadmill on the incline, and every minute I'm taking the incline up and the speed up. You'll start off walking, and then it'll be sprinting. And then I'm looking at his heart rate to see if he can push through, or is he going to get off, or is he going to keep going. And some athletes, I had an athlete that, I thought he was going to die. He just kept going and kept going and kept going. But that's the kind of athlete that you want when, it's the end of the game or it's overtime, a guy that's going to be able to focus and push through. And also, we'll do a plank just to see how long a guy can hold the plank. Most guys, they'll start shaking 45 seconds and then drop, or they'll go a couple minutes. But I just want to see them fight through, keep it going, and see where they are mentally, see what I'm dealing with. Next, when we're talking about nutrition, and here is our nutritionist, Monica Fowler. She does a great job with our guys. She works with every athlete on campus, and I don't even know how she gets it done, but she does. She finds a way to get it done. I call her my work wife because we work well together, and I think it's important for us to have a relationship just as well as it's important for a strength and conditioning coach to have a relationship with his athletic trainer. Um, me and Monica, we talk about fueling for the guys. We don't talk about like breakfast, lunch, dinner. It's just about fueling. We talk about like in the morning, you got to stop at the gas station. You got to pump fuel into the car. Lunch, same thing. So with that, we try to put a big emphasis on nutrition. As I said earlier, I think it's probably one of the most overlooked things that athletes do. Basketball players, they're very picky in what they like to eat. I know Mike Rayfeld, we talked about that a couple times. Mike's the head strength coach for Cincinnati. I learned a lot from him. Shout out to Mike. So with the nutrition, we try to find a way to get the guys to, see the importance of nutrition and, get them knowing that, like, I tell them the body is like a temple. You keep the temple pure. You don't go in the temple. You take your shoes off before you go in. You just keep the temple pure. So you want to keep your body pure as well so you can perform to the best of your abilities. Even you can recover better to the best of your abilities when it comes to nutrition. So, Monica, what she does is she finds a way to kind of get the training table set so it's enjoyable for each guy to eat. It's kind of, she gets what they like to eat and the things that they, were used to eating coming up. And a lot of these guys, didn't eat coming up. So it's a way for her to kind of get with each individual, see what they like. She writes down the things that they do like, things that they don't like. So we try to make the training table feasible for each athlete so that they will eat, I think food is probably one of the best supplements. People ask me all the time, like, what should I take for this or what should I take for that? I'm trying to gain weight. I'm trying to lose weight. I tell them just eat. Food is the best supplement that you can get. It's created. God was made food for us, and it's natural, so eat food. Some of the habits that I preach to my guys are, sleeping about 7 to 8 hours a night. I know these young athletes, they're on Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, whatever other social media aspects that we have, and talking to their girlfriends or, what else are they doing? Anything, not sleeping, playing video games. So I try to get them to sleep so they can optimize their food and their food breakdown. Try to get them to eat within the first hour of waking up. Breakfast for our guys is probably one of the most frustrating things for me because, they don't like to eat. Back in high school, their first meal of the day is when they went to lunch. So I'm like, how did you wake up, go to the gym, and then come to school and go to class? How do you even stay awake and just, you're not fueling your body. So that's one of the things that we kind of make mandatory for our guys. And, it's easy for our guys because the meal room is right where their dorm is. So all they got to do is come downstairs and eat. So either myself, somebody from the nutritionist staff, or one of the coaches is there every day making sure that these guys eat breakfast and get the right fueling that they need. It's definitely the most important meal of the day. And, we tell them to eat every 2 to 3 hours. And by doing that, our class schedule is they literally from 8 to about 2 o'clock are in class, the majority of them. So we start off in the summer packing snacks, and Monica, she makes a individual plan for each guy. So we pack snacks for the guys. Myself and maybe an intern that I have will pack a snack and put it in the guy's backpack. So this is what you should eat during this time. This is what you should have during this time. Pull it out, and I'll send a guy a text here and there. Did you eat your snack today? Did you do this? Did you do that? And so, they'll do that. They'll eat every 2 to 3 hours, just getting some kind of snack, and also staying hydrated, giving each guy just a gallon jug so they can have that throughout the day. You know, I tell them to just sip on it. Make sure you stay hydrated, especially with practice time comes. You know, you're going to lose a lot of sweat. There's going to be a lot of sweat loss, so you got to replenish yourselves with that. So drink, 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 drink. And I make sure that we have someone from nutrition to be at our workouts. You know, Monica, some of her staff, they'll make pre-workout snacks. Also, they'll have a post-workout shake and everything that's there for our guys. And, you know, I like to have someone from nutrition around because it's very important, and I want our guys to notice the importance of nutrition as well. This little cart here is pretty cool. You'll see me pushing that around, kind of like a homeless guy pushes his cans around. You know, I'm pushing it around the facility, having it at practice. After practice, I'll have it in the weight room. I mean, it's literally, I'm pushing it around, you know, making shakes for the guys, me and Monica. And as you see there, you'll have your vitamins at the bottom. You got some bars. You've got Rice Krispie. I mean, you got everything that goes on that cart. And so when they go to practice, you know, give them a beet juice for the guys. And then when they come off the practice court, so right here, this actually is right outside the practice court. That's where I have it every day. When they come off the practice court, you know, they'll have a shake for each individual. And what we do is Monica has cooking classes for the guys over the summer, which is pretty cool because it allows them to pretty much learn about nutrition, learn, you know, really what a vegetable is and what a carb is and, you know, what glycogen, I mean, all the good stuff. I mean, honestly, I had no idea what it was when I was their age. So it's cool for them to learn about what they're putting in their bodies and really hold them accountable for what they're doing. We have guys that will eat lunch together and hold each other accountable, whether they need to gain weight or lose weight. Just, you know, make sure that the guys are eating. And we've created a food log for the guys so they can lie and tell me that they ate this all day long, and then I can say, no, you didn't. Your practice was terrible today, or I can see it in your eyes. You didn't eat that. So, you know, I just hold those guys accountable. And it's really good for guys that want to lose weight or need to lose weight, having those guys fill out that food log, you know. So, I mean, we also have a fast food guide for our players. You know, people that grew up on fast food, they're addicted to it, so they're going to eat it. So I try to have Monica put together something that will optimize them going to get those things when they go to a McDonald's or a Taco Bell, because, I mean, you know they're going to do it, so you might as well just try to help them as much as possible. You know, you can't be with these guys day in and day out, so you just have to find a way to, you know, do the best that you can and provide for each individual athlete. So nutrition, I mean, I can't speak enough about it. I think it's very important for each athlete, and fueling your body is what you need to be the best athlete that you can be. All right? Let's go into a little bit about the core. I think the core is probably, just like nutrition, one of the most underdeveloped things that guys and girls, athletes, don't focus on. You know, you're going to teach guys to engage their core. It's definitely the foundation of any athlete, any program. You know, everything comes from your core. If you don't have a core, you're really a weak athlete, and we do more things than just, you know, doing sit-ups and crunches and things like that. I don't like to necessarily do as many sit-ups and crunches with our guys, and I think that all training can be core training. You know, whether you're doing an overhead squat, you're engaging your core. Whether you're squatting, you're engaging your core. Front squat, deadlift. When you're doing Olympic movements, it's all coming from the core. You know, I think having a weak core is you're not an athlete. I think the core is where your power comes from. You know, it's like an engine under the hood. You know, it's not there. I mean, it's there. You can't see it, but it's what gets things going. You know, the core is definitely of major importance. Having a weak core can definitely cause injuries. You know, I like to do a lot of planks and, you know, stabilization movement because it really locks the core down. You know, I'll have guys just do movements where they're sitting in a athletic stands holding the basketball and having a guy push the basketball or try to get the athlete off balance. I think that really teaches our guys how to engage their core, how to get the best bang for their buck when it comes to the core. Every day, like I said, I warm the core up, and we even do some core exercises before practice and sometimes during practice and even after practice. I can't speak much about how important the core is to me as a strength coach and to the athletes as well. So with that being said, let's talk a little bit about the explosiveness of an athlete. All right. As I said earlier, the game of basketball, it's a game of explosiveness. They like to, jump. You got a true triple extension, of the ankles, knees, and hips. I mean, that's pretty much in the game of basketball. If you analyze a game, when a guy's going up for a jump shot, triple extension. When a guy's playing defense and he's pushing off, all right, going laterally, that's triple extension of the ankle, knees, and hip as well. When you talk about rate of force development, I want to increase with heavy loads and also have our guys move the bar fast. I think it's very important to enhance the speed and the jumping ability of our athletes, and I think it's very relatable to sports. It's very relatable to the game of basketball, as I said earlier, with a jump shot, going up a rebound, playing defense, blocking a shot, layup, dunk, everything is about explosiveness, and that is from tip-off to the end of the game. I want the athletes to rapidly recruit these muscles, to produce as much force as they can, and explosive is not just vertical. I think it's something that is laterally as well, and it's not also always double leg. It's single leg as well. So I'll do a lot of single leg, just jumps, just not necessarily heavy jumps, but light landing and teaching guys how to land and be explosive at the same time. For me, I do a lot of the Olympic variations. I think that I became John Spurlock's best friend when he saw me doing Olympic movements with the athletes there. He loves it, and I learn a lot from him when he's working with women. So some of the Olympic variations that I'll do is clean pull. Don't do the full clean. Do the clean pull, do the snatch, push press, and a push jerk. So out of season, when I'm doing those jerks, I am using a Swiss bar. So it's kind of better for the shoulders. And then during the end season, we'll do some dumbbells, do heavy dumbbells with those jerks. And with the dumbbells, having a guy just hand them to you, it's easier than picking up some heavy dumbbells and having to rotate it up and, doing a clean to get the dumbbells up to your shoulders. So we'll do a lot of that in season, So with that, we'll go heavy in season when it comes to the Olympic movements. We're not doing a lot of sets and reps, but just want to keep the guys explosive. And also I'll do some explosive movements even at the end of a workout, not just at the beginning. I think it's important to kind of teach the body how to be explosive throughout a workout. And I think at the end, you've got your muscles already recruited, and it's better for you to get the most bang for your buck. And also we'll teach guys a true box jump, not just getting a box where they have to bring their knees all the way up to their chest, but literally learn how to jump and fully extend and really be explosive. Also teaching them how to land properly for those jumps. For my box jump, I'm not having a guy at 40 or 50 inches or anything like that. I keep it pretty low so they can get all the way up and on it, and then we will progress from that. So that is pretty much the box jump and how I do my Olympic variations. We'll do a lot of post-activation complex training, get off under a squat bar or something like that, and then you're jumping with the bands. You're doing a single leg jump or you're doing a double leg jump. I do a lot of that with our guys, especially out of season, not so much in season when it comes to the jumping, because I think they're getting enough of that in game and in practice as well. When we talk about power conditioning, the repetitive force application with short rest over an extended period of time. So we'll do a lot of triple extension when it comes to running on the hill. We have a ramp inside of our facility that I'll have the guys run and just really get them to be powerful and driving off and working on that acceleration, as well as the Vertimax or some resisted jumps. Also, we'll do a lot of sled work in the gym. We have one of the Gilman sleds that's able to be on the court, so I'll load that thing up and have those guys moving that to get a little conditioning aspect and to just get triple extension and stay strong within their legs. Talking about training your lower body, the lower body I think is probably more important than the upper body. You got to be strong upper body, but everything comes from your lower body. It comes from the posterior chain. I tell guys, I like to have the back side looking a lot better than the front side. You should look better walking away from me than you do coming towards me. So with that, I think it's very important for athletes. We'll use some back squat. We'll do a lot of double leg movements, back squat. We do deadlifts. We will do single leg squatting, whether it is, a rear foot elevated split squat or just a single leg squat down to a box. And I'm big on developing the posterior chain. Posterior chain development for me is where power comes from, and I like to teach that a lot. This year, we didn't have a glute ham machine or anything like that. It's actually going to be coming in a couple of weeks for me. So we had like some leg press machines and things of that nature, and I don't really use a lot of the leg press just unless a guy is injured. I like to be functional when it comes to training the guys, and I like them to squat. You say, well, basketball players shouldn't squat, or with the long levers, they can't do this. Well, if you teach it correctly, they can get under a bar and squat. Now, I'm not going to put 405 pounds on a guy's back and, get him hurt or anything like that. But if I'm teaching the guy to squat correctly and he's able to get up to 405 pounds, then why not? But, the majority of our guys, if I'm only going to have them for a year or two, it's more about teaching and just making that guy's legs as strong as possible, whether it's through double leg training, single leg training, but definitely developing that posterior chain. With the posterior chain, I had to do a lot of single leg curls with a towel on the floor, or whether it's doing glute bridges, whether it's doing the glute bridges on a physio ball, leg curls on a physio ball, back extensions, things of that nature, doing foot, ankle, getting the hips strong, and that's with, standing on the Eric's pad for time, moving your leg around just to get that ankle and knee and hip strong. I work a lot with the athletes with that, and, I think it's big. I think it's big for the guys to learn how to use their lower body from the weight room to transfer onto the court. I think that's definitely big for our athletes, and we will work it a lot. Speaking of the squatting, the picture on the right is kind of how I can just teach a guy how to squat properly. So that's a band resisted squat, and what he's doing is he's got a dowel rod on his back. The band's wrapped around his waist, and it's attached to it's attached to a leg press machine, and I have him wrap it around and just get used to getting that chest up, shoulders back, and being able to squat down with perfect form, and just working at getting better and working at depth. To the left, it's what I have the guys do is a kettlebell front squat, and it's not perfect, but no athlete really is perfect. So again, we're teaching and training athletes, not weightlifters. So with doing that, I will, kind of show guys how to squat with kettlebells in front, and also we'll do overhead squat with the dowel rod, kind of get them used to that. We will do goblet squats. We'll do box squats to a bench. We also will do a squat to stand where we're getting down and grabbing your ankle or grabbing your toes, getting your hips down below your knees, and just overhead squatting and standing all the way up. Just working on your mobility for your hips and your lower body. So we will do a lot of that. And then also, I'm big on single leg training. And what we would do with the single leg training, as I said earlier, we have the rear foot elevated split squat, and we'll do box squats. But I think with single leg training, it increases your single leg power. It's big for taking a lot of stress off of the back. You know, you've got minimal spine load, and with single leg training, it's a lot of glute and ham activation, and it's less quad dominant for our athletes, and it gives you a balanced strength. So whether you're, stronger on your left leg, it gives you the ability to be stronger on your left leg as well. And it's, got voluntary contractions for the guys, and also single leg training is very sport specific, and it increases your sprint and agility. I think it builds the elite athlete and also helps with the ACL prevention. Most single leg training, most training is very quad dominant. So I like to get single leg in there so it's less quad dominant for our athletes. And here when we talk about ACL, it's one of the most common injuries in basketball as of late. I mean, we've had a lot of guys in the sport of basketball in the NBA get injured in their ACLs. I mean, it's one of those, it's like cancer. It's like keeps happening, and do we really know why? Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. It can be caused by, fatigue or imbalances within the muscle, and the ACL, is one of the 4 main ligaments within the knee that connect the femur to the tibia. And for our guys, we had a guy last year who actually tore his ACL in practice. And I knew it was the ACL the day that it happened. I was actually standing in practice, not really paying attention. I was looking the other way, and then I saw him running down the court, and then I just heard a big yell. And I was just like, man, that's definitely an ACL, just the way he was yelling and screaming when he landed. And so it allowed me to, really work with him, really work on getting his quad stronger, working on his glute activation, getting his hips stronger, working on knee stability. Did a lot of slide board training with that particular athlete to get him back to good health, and he really worked his butt off. And the cool thing about him, he was actually a graduate student, so he was able to get in the weight room with me every single morning, working on his mobility and working on single leg strength, working on getting, like I said, his quad stronger and just working on his hips and his mobility. When it comes to protection of the ACL, I like to improve the mobility in the ankle and the hip, strengthening the posterior chain, working on deceleration, teaching guys how to land. It's funny to see athletes that jump so much, they really don't know how to land properly. You'll see guys with their knees caving in, or if they're landing, stuff is shifting and stuff like that. So I would teach guys, really how to land and stick it, and it just comes from not being lazy. I mean, I saw a guy, the first time I ever taught a guy to box jump, he went up, jumped, and landed just like that. And it was it was ugly. It was a terrible thing to see. And it just was very lazy. And I was teaching guys, you've got to land properly and learn how to jump the right way. And also to protect your ACLs, I think it's good to have rest. It's good to get a lot of recovery in, and also work a lot on, balance for the lower body, for the ankle, and for that foot and ankle strength. And also with upper body, upper body it's upper body. For our guys, I want them to master the push-up and really master it. For our guys, some of them can't even do 10 push-ups when they first arrive on campus. Heck, some of them can't even do 5 push-ups the right way. They think they can, but as far as getting full range of motion, and that's in all exercises, I want our guys to have full range of motion when it comes to whether they're squatting, whether they're doing a push-up, whether they are doing a leg curl. Everything is about full range of motion. I also want our guys to master the pull-up. You know, I think the pull-up uses a lot of the core is just as well as the push-up, and it's cool to see a guy that's 7 foot, 265 pounds when I'm helping him do a pull-up, and he's, you know, got the band and he's assisted going from doing 2 of those to being able to do 3 pull-ups by himself. You know, I think that that is true upper body strength. I don't necessarily do a lot of bench pressing when it comes to our guys. I mean, the only reason we bench press is because they do it at the combine. So we'll bench press very little. I do a lot of dumbbell pressing in season especially and out of season as well, you know, and I make sure that I'm pulling more than I'm pushing. And also do a lot of grip work with our guys to, you know, get those hands and forearms strong so when they're grabbing a rebound or when they're ripping through and guys are swiping at the ball, they're not just losing it and going out of their hands. So we definitely do a lot of grip training with basketball, whether it is holding plates or pinching plates for time, or whether it's the little gripper machine where they're squeezing and holding and letting go, you know, doing those for time and for reps as well. So for upper body training, you know, I'll do a lot of, like I said, dumbbell work and have our guys, even in season, doing a lot of dumbbell work with their presses and even pulls and things of that nature. Next, we're going to talk a little bit about mental toughness with our guys. I think that, you know, this is a big key for athletes as well. They've got to be mentally tough when they're, you know, working. It creates an environment where, you know, the guys can learn to focus and push through adversity and be able to, you know, just like I said, fight through adversity, get them in uncomfortable situations, because a lot of times that's the game of basketball. You'll be in an uncomfortable situation. You'll be down by 10 points and have to overcome that to win a game. You know, we had the SEC championship game, and it was tough, and there were points where we were down, but, you know, I think our guys fought through and ended up coming out and winning the game. Had to go into overtime. You know, I think that mental toughness, it breeds the guys to be able to work together and fight for each other. You know, I like to do what I call the Final Four at the end of workouts, and that's just pick 4 exercises and do them, whether it's holding a 45-pound plate and we're doing upright rows, we're doing curls, we're doing pushes, we're doing rows with it, you know, something just to grind them out at the end of a workout. You know, I think that mental toughness is very important for our guys, and it just, like I said, creates bonding, creates the guys to be able to work together and push through things and work hard. You know, athletes, you've got to be tough, especially when you go on the road and you've got fans yelling at you, especially, you know, at Kentucky. A lot of people want to see us lose as we go on the road. You know, I mean, we sell out road games, and, you know, hearing all the boos and things like that, you've got to be able to lock in and fight through those situations for basketball. And that's just not even for basketball. That's any sport as well. You know, when it comes to conditioning, you know, I don't necessarily use a lot of, you know, like track running or long distance running. I do have some aerobic effect with our guys, but a lot of it is anaerobic. You do have to have an aerobic base to play the game of basketball, especially when you're playing for 40 minutes. And the cool thing about Kentucky is, like we said, we have new guys every year. So with that, a lot of the conditioning has to go into practice. And the reason that is because Coach Cal is having to coach a lot in practice. You know, so there's a lot of stopping for time, and there's a lot of, you know, there's a lot of time spent coaching these guys. So, you know, I tell Coach, like, you know, we've got to work in conditioning for these athletes, and they have to be in the best shape of their life in season. You know, they've got to be strong in season. So we work a lot of the conditioning. I like to make those drills competitive for our guys, because I think that not only will it create competitiveness, but it will create an environment where guys will go to their full max potential when it comes to conditioning, as opposed to just saying we've got this for time. Well, you've got this against this guy, you know. And if you're very competitive and a true athlete, you're not going to want this guy to beat you. You know, you're not going to want the person next to you beating you in a drill. So you want to show that you're the fastest. You want to show that you're the best. So I like to make drills very competitive, whether it's a team competition or just whether it's one-on-one. You know, it's a lot of reaction going on with our guys as far as movement and competition. And also, we'll use an underwater treadmill for our guys. We have an Alter G that we will work with as well to take some of the stress off the joints. So we'll do a lot of that during the summer and preseason. And I like to get guys moving so they're getting ready for practice, whether they're doing defensive slides or things that are more applicable to the game of basketball. And when it comes to speed and agility, you know, I'm more so big on the agility and quickness aspect of it. You know, the game of basketball, yeah, you got to be fast, but you're not running straight ahead for that long in the basketball game. So I'm more so about acceleration and, you know, also making those things competitive as well. You know, every day for us is a competition. Every single day is a competition. And, you know, I like to work on first step quickness, you know, for our guys and just working on movement technique. It's funny watching guys when they first come in, not knowing how to run properly. You know, I mean, they look sloppy, and especially our big guys, things like that. So, and we also will go do a sand pit workout in the summer and in the preseason. And, you know, for the sand workout, it's very low impact, and, you know, and it's good resistance as well. Also, it's good strengthening for the lower body, for the ankle, for the knees, and for the hips as well. So, you know, we'll do a lot of those things, and those pictures, those are some of our guys at the combine, and the top two pictures, that's what the combine looks like. That's them running the three-quarter sprint. Let's get on to recovery, running out of time here. What we'll do is, I mean, we'll recover. I preach recovery. You know, I find a way to get the recovery in during the season. So what I'll do is I'll bring guys back at night, whether it's 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock p.m., and we will stretch, we'll foam roll, we'll do some mobility drills, then we'll get in the hot tub, cold tub. Then I'll give them like Gatorade, water, or chocolate milk. We give chocolate milks out to the guys after every game, you know, so it goes well with recovery, teaching them how to sleep properly. And also, you know, we find the time to make sure that these guys are recovering. You know, they enjoy the recovery workouts. You know, they enjoy the foam rolling. They enjoy the stretching, everything that we have going on with our guys. So these are some of the things that we'll use. So we have the Vibrate, the Hyper Ice foam roller. You know, we use bands, lacrosse balls for the foot. You know, we will do yoga. We'll have yoga sessions. Start those out in the summer and kind of keep those going in season. You know, so that's really helped our guys out as well. And, you know, I mean, some guys won't be well with it, but they get better and they understand the importance of it. Stat Sports is something that we use, you know, for player tracking, and we get them going. And I use it in practice to just kind of get a metrics of where our guys are, and it helps me allow them to get going with practice and tell Cal what we have going on with the guys, who's going hard, who's not going hard as well. As I'm running out of time, I just want to say thank you to everyone for waking up this morning and listening to me speak. These are my beautiful ladies. They actually make me look good, or I make them look good, honestly. But nonetheless, you know, they are able to help me get to where I am. I love them every day. I thank God. I thank my family. I thank Coach Cal for giving me this opportunity of a lifetime and just being able to do what I love. I thank the players and their families for trusting in me. And I just want to thank all my previous mentors and bosses that I've worked with over the years. And thank you for this organization for having me. Oh, also, I'm sorry. If you have any questions or want to send me an email, my email is robertharris@uky.edu. That's robertharris@uky.edu. Thanks.